I am the general manager at the Corn Crib Natural Foods in Moncton and the St. John location. I've been there about 4 years. Currently I'm on maternity leave with my second child. I had a little boy in February. So I'm going to be 100% honest. When Dan sent me a little message and said, "Do you want to come talk at Le Talking Tree?" I thought he was asking me to come sell tea. And then I got to thinking, well, what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? And the more that I thought about it and what I could share to a wider audience, I guess, I just thought about my experience, how I became general manager at the Corn Crib, how I started my tea company, Bonté Divine, and basically what brought me here today. So we'll rewind a little bit. 4 and a half years ago, I was on maternity leave for the first time. I had been working at General Electric. I was working from home. The pregnancy was hard, and I remember thinking, I can't even imagine if I was working while being pregnant. And working in a store, I guess I should say. So I knew I didn't want to go back to GE. It wasn't for me. There wasn't a lot of face-to-face interactions. And one of my friends was currently the general manager at the Corn Crib, and she said, "Why don't you come work for me at the Corn Crib?" And I had not stepped foot in that store since high school. I didn't believe in supplementation. I didn't do processed foods or anything like that at this point already, but just the thought of taking supplements every day, that was not my cup of tea, and I really didn't think it was going to be for me. So I told her I would try it, and we said 2 weeks. We'll give it a 2-week try, and we'll see where we go from there. And within my first day, just the people that I met, customers of the store that had been going there for 40 years, it just blew my mind. To say that you learn something every day where you work is, it's a complete misnomer. Like, the customers that come into the Corn Crib teach me something different every single day. So with the knowledge that the customers had given me, I decided to stay and make a go for it and really learn what the health food industry was all about. And in my time there, I've seen so many things. People that have been on Tecta for years for ulcers, curing them up with just a simple thing that comes off the shelf. My grandmother was sick with C. difficile. She's 93. She went into the Dumont, and one little pill from our fridge at the Corn Crib stopped C. difficile in its track. And I didn't believe it until I saw it. You know, you look at the news, and every single night, it seems, there's a new special on why you shouldn't take supplements and it's a waste of money, and why you shouldn't follow superfoods because they aren't superfoods, they're just ordinary food. But once you put them into practice and you take away all those buzzwords and you see that these things aren't brand new things, they're not things that, you know, somebody just made up, they're part of nature. And once you start introducing them into your life, you really start to see the changes. So fast forward again to now, about 6 months ago, when I was pregnant with my son John. If my first pregnancy had been like this one, I would probably have 10 kids. You know, it was so much easier, and it was through the use of natural supplementation and knowing what to take and speaking to other women that were pregnant that were coming into the store and saying, "Oh, you're taking this for heartburn?" With Eleanor, my first, I was going through a bottle of Tums a week with heartburn. And to see that there's something natural that you can take that isn't going to throw off your calcium levels and all that, it blew my mind. And it works. So I guess what I'm saying is, it's easy to be skeptical, but once you sort of open yourself up to the possibility that, okay, maybe some of the stuff I'm seeing on the news isn't as true as they say it is. You know, maybe the study Coca-Cola funded that says that you can drink all the Coke you want and it's not a problem, just exercise more. You know, maybe that's not the truth. So once you sort of see that, you can open your minds to other things. The tea you're drinking right now,
What is it?
because I didn't have enough to do, I decided to start a little tea venture on the side while I was on maternity leave. And I went through it the way that I look at things at the Corn Crib. I decided to do a whole line of medicinal teas with some of the organic herbs that we have at the store, and also stuff that I'd foraged as well. So I went to the farmer's market in Memram Cook. I had my whole display. It was all medicinal teas, things for digestion, things for lactation, things for libido, and it went okay. And I had that tea that you're drinking sampled, and that was the digestion tea. And nobody wanted the digestion tea. I switched the name to Mint Refresher, and it's my best seller. But you know what you're really drinking is nettle and burdock root with a little bit of peppermint in it. So it just kind of goes to show that once you sort of open up your mind a little bit, just a little, you can start letting some other ideas in and see. I don't believe that we have to challenge everything, but a little more critical thinking in what we're eating and the way that we go about our medications, and see that there's not always quick fixes, but there's healthier fixes than some of the medications that we can get. I think when I look at sort of my experience at the Corn Crib too, and talking about, the inspiration, naturally inspired, I am not going to stand up here and say I'm the epitome of health and that I have no vices. I do. But that being said, I'm a firm believer that any little change is a positive change. You don't need to have a medicine cabinet full of supplements to be healthy, but maybe throw in a multivitamin or maybe a vitamin D in the winter. It's not going to hurt you, and it's going to make you feel better. I look at the change in my family. My daughter, she does a vitamin dance every morning for her fish oils, and I'm really grateful for that. And I think that it's something that we can. It's a shifting in attitude, and it's a shifting in habit as well, and realizing that if we're eating processed foods, or if we're eating things that are shipped in from miles and miles away, of course the nutritional value isn't going to be there, and of course as a result our bodies aren't going to be functioning the way that they should be functioning. They were designed to function. So the inspiration to moving to whole living, I guess? I'm not going to say holistic, I'm going to say whole living. Real foods, real inspiration to do what we need to do to make ourselves healthier, and to question some of the choices that our doctors are making for us, to be open to speak to the people sitting next to you. What's worked for you? What's worked for me? And to really listen and hear, rather than immediately, that's not true. There's no way. I saw it in the CBC. No, there's no way. And once we do that, our lives can change for the better. And I mean, with herbs and plants and medicinals, it's so easy to better your life and to really open yourself up to new experiences and new people. And I guess that's my inspiration. I don't know if that was clear, concise. I hope it was. I'd love to hear from you guys if you have any stories about natural health, or if you have questions about supplementation or anything like that. I'd really love to open it up to you as well. No? Thank you.
Thank you. Even before knowing it was